any white person who was born, raised, and schooled in the United States of America, if you aren't a racist, you're a miracle. Either that or you decided to educate yourself. Because education in this country is about white is right, brown's all right, black's got to stand back. Yellow's mellow, but whites, we educate in a way that says that white males have done all the adventures, have made all the adventures, have done all the discovering, have made everything that is good and has been accomplished according to social studies, which is actually anti-social studies, by white males. It's a lie. But we do that in order to maintain the myth of white superiority. The myth of race has to be maintained at all costs in this country. Because if white people have to give up the color of their skin as being something that makes them perfect, what do they have left? If we start teaching the truth about history, if we start teaching about Nile Valley contributions to civilization, it will totally change the way we conduct ourselves in the classroom. It will have to. Columbus didn't discover America. You can't discover a place where people are already living. But we celebrate that every October. It's a lie. We need to get over it. We need to stop telling the myths and start telling the truth.
So when you tell people that they're racist, and it must have some kind of effect, because most people will say, I'm not racist.
I'm not a racist. Why, some of my best friends are black.
Right.
Yeah, and then you say, name one. Or this one, I don't see color. And when some woman says to me, I don't see color, I say, I knew that. If you saw color, you wouldn't dye your hair that way. Or I say, if you saw color, you wouldn't wear that shirt with those pants. I believe that you don't see color. It's an attempt to deny skin color. And it's an attempt to deny what's wrong with seeing the color of my skin. Is it all right for you to see me kind of pink? That's okay for me. I don't mind. And I suspect that you don't mind being seen the color you are. You have a right to be what you are. And until people in this country and people in this world get it into their heads that the first modern human beings that evolved on this earth were black women. They evolved in sub-Saharan Africa about 280,000 years ago, and every human being on the face of the earth today has the memory of those black women's genetic structure in their genes. Now, we don't want to admit that, but that's the way it is. And as people moved farther and farther from the equator, their bodies produced less and less melanin, so their hair, their skin, and their eyes got lighter. As they moved into the east, they ate a lot of fish and a lot of vegetables, so their skin took on a different tone. I found that out when I was raising little kids. My husband worked in a supermarket. He was the head of the produce department, and they had lots of oranges that they couldn't sell. So he'd bring them home, and I was feeding my kids orange juice like you never saw in your life. They began to have an orange cast to their skin. I thought they had a liver problem. So I took him to the doctor, and she said, what are you feeding these kids? I said, well, lots of orange juice. She said, stop it if you want them to stop being orange. Now, if you think that skin color isn't anything other than the body's natural reaction to the natural environment, get over it.
So, if all white people are racist, according to you, can they be reprogrammed?
Of course they can. Of course they can. Of
How?
course they can be. It's called education. I'm an educator. The word educator comes from the root duc, which means lead, the prefix e, which means out, the suffix ate, which means the act of, and the suffix or, which means one who does. An educator is one who is engaged in the act of leading people out of ignorance.
Hello, welcome back again to Willy Doki Stories. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, because here is where we break down the real talks that most of the people are afraid to talk about. And today I'm going to take you over a very interesting story that I've come across in the internet. And for decades, no, centuries, Black America has cried out, screamed in pain, demanded justice, spoke truth to power, but it was ignored, dismissed, mocked. Now, suddenly, white America is whispering what we have been yelling all along. What changed and why now? So, without wasting time, I want you to sit down, relax, and enjoy and see this video. We'll meet after the videos. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
Jay-Z is a billionaire. Rihanna is a billionaire. Bob Johnson is a billionaire. Magic Johnson is a Tiger Woods. Serena, Snow Bunny Serena is a billionaire. Listen. You know why they get them? Because all the money they made it through who? Through the white power structure. And they don't want to lose it. They have so much to lose that the power structure know when I put that microphone in front of Michael Jordan's mouth, when I put that microphone in front of LeBron James' mouth, when I put that microphone in front of Oprah Winfrey's mouth, it's not going to be what the black people really think and feel. I control them. They will never let authentic grassroots voices get on the internet. Look at me. I'm the most popular black activist in the world. I've never been on Oprah's couch. Why hasn't Dr. Umar ever been on Oprah's couch? Because I will turn that mother out. And so because of that, I'll never get on Oprah's couch. They'll go get Swollen Martin or somebody to sit on Oprah's couch, but they're not going to get no real authentic, because you will force a conversation on topics they don't want to talk about. Do you follow me?
Absolutely.
And that's why. So that means we got to crush the black bourgeoisie in order to lift up those authentic black voices. But let me say this to the authentic black voices. You have to make sure you're not for sale. Because every black leader that has ever sold out the black cause, from Brazil to Panama, from New York City to Oakland, from Jamaica to Haiti, from Nigeria to Somalia, from Toronto to England, from Ireland to France, every black leader that has ever sold us out began in the trenches. They thought they were real. They thought there was a freedom fighter until the white man gave them an offer they couldn't refuse. Are you still going to be unapologetically African when they offer you a $500,000 a year job? Are you still going to be unapologetically African when they say if you sell out, I'll let your mommy and daddy out of jail early? Are you still going to be unapologetically African when they send you a 5'5" thick in the thigh curvy snow bunny? Are you still going to be unapologetically African when they offer you the things that you always wanted? You got to make sure you know your soul, because I'm going to tell you right now, the white power structure studies black people. The activists, they will study you, sister, and they will say, what does she like? What does she not like? The FBI does a psychological profile on everybody. You see that? And they're going to say, what's her weakness? She like expensive things. So if we threaten her with poverty, she'll sell out in a minute. And guess what? The biggest reason most black leaders have sold out? Fear of poverty. Fear of having to live a regular life without expensive junk. If you are a black capitalist, you are a traitor waiting to happen. Black power.
I know I don't understand your experience.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I have never had to live it.
Come on now.
I can sympathize, and I can recognize when things are wrong.
We sisters and brothers here. Talk.
For instance, if a black man or woman should never be afraid for their life, for getting pulled over for speeding.
Come on now. Come on.
But I have never lived in that fear.
Come on now. Come on.
No black man or woman should ever be reluctant to walk outside for fear of racial profiling.
Tell it, sister. Tell it.
But I have never been racially profiled.
That's right. Come on now.
No black man or woman should ever expect to go to jail in their lifetime because of the color of their skin.
Come on now.
But I have never lived in that expectancy.
That's good.
And this is why I don't believe in the phrase, I don't see color.
That's right.
One, to say you don't see color is a lie. We're different. We can all see that. But two, and way more importantly, to deny the differences in our skin is to deny the differences in our privilege.
Come on. Yeah.
I'm going to say that again because I think it's worth repeating. To deny the differences in our skin is to deny the differences in our privilege.
Yeah.
And that leads me to my next point. To deny the differences in our color is to promote ignorance. Ignorance is the reason that systemic racism and oppression is allowed to exist in this country.
That's good.
So why am I here? Why am I up here speaking?
Come on now. Tell them, sister.
I'm going to talk on about three things. One of those is change, the other is ignorance, and one is discomfort. I'll get there.
Go ahead. Take your time.
Broadly speaking, why am I here? Because I want change. But let me speak on that for a second. Because I think a lot of people want change.
Yes.
I think a lot of people say they want change, but let me clarify. I think a lot of white people think they want change.
Come on.
But here's the thing about that. In order for there to be a true and genuine change, for you, for the black community, for people of color, there has to be an equal and requited amount of change for white privilege.
That's right.
And that is something that white people don't want to think about. They don't want to admit that. White people don't want to acknowledge the head start we have in life just for being born this color. You know what? That is willful ignorance.
Put it on front line.
Willful ignorance is what allows oppression to continue in this country.
Together we stand. That's it.
So I'm going to talk on ignorance for a second. I think one of the biggest things that allows ignorance to continue is our education system.
There it is, baby.
Ma'am, our education system.
Yes, ma'am.
And what I mean by that is our education is a white man's education.
It is.
It is a white man's history.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell it.
Why does that matter? Again, like I said, I can recognize when something is wrong. And that is wrong. Why? Because when you tell that history, the history that excludes black history and black culture and the black experience, you allow white people to think that nothing is wrong. And when that happens, you allow white people to think, well, it was bad back then, but it's not bad now. Hell no.
That's right.
It's bad now. In fact, some might say it's worse because this is systemic oppression.
That's right.
This is institutional oppression. This is oppression that is not overt, but it is just as powerful, and we are able to hide it.
God Almighty.
And I have more to say. If you want to hear all of it, please come out Saturday.
We'll be there.
Thank you. We appreciate it. But just know the reason I'm here is because I stand by you. I support you. I love each and every one of you out here. We are brothers and sisters to the day we die. And this is not my time to have my voice heard, but I will use my voice for you. I promise.
We never intended them to be anything other than a slave. But they began to grow in number and in power, and eventually they fought their way to some freedom. So we became even more cruel. And to keep our black Americans down, we lynched. But yet they rose. So then we used the welfare system, the criminal justice system, to keep them down, to contain them, to destroy them. But yet they rose, and they're rising. Then we built prisons and jails to hold them. Yet they rose. And so now we are doing exactly what the Pharaoh did at the end, sending out a decree, kill them. So until we admit that when we wrote this Constitution that all men are created equal, that we never intended to include our black brothers and sisters, our nation may end up facing exactly what the Egyptians faced when they refused to let God's people go. So I'm going to say this to my white fellow Americans, that the bloodshed that is on its way is not on the hands of our fellow black Americans, but is on our hands. We are the ones that are refusing to let God's people go. We are the ones that are refusing to acknowledge that we do not value our black brothers and sisters as equal individuals or equal Americans as us white men. And to my black brothers and sisters, the racial issues, as I've said, have been there from the very foundation. But why do we see it more? Because there's a shifting. See, us white men have been at the head since the foundation. But we've had a black president. And you know, we've done everything in our power to keep him from really changing things. Now we have another minority rising to the top, a white female. What does that say? Those of us who are white men who have been at the head are now starting to see and fear that we are going to become the tail. And we know what we've done to you. And so now we're fearful that you're going to do to us what we have done to you. But I will say this. I've lived in a black community for 23 years. I've never been treated the way that this country has treated my black Americans. So I call out my white Americans to say we better heed, repent, acknowledge, and change. Because if we don't, I just want to again say this.
Welcome back again to Willie Doki Stories, and you've seen that, right? Now you believe it because it came from out of their own mouth. But let's be clear here, folks. None of this is new to us. We have lived in it, breathed it, died from it for generations. Black people have been crying out while America wore noise-cancelling headphones. They literally ignored the black American's voice. Now that the system is cracking all over again, everybody wants to look enlightened, but where were you when we were begging to be heard? When we were marching, when we were buried in silence and statistics? It was not that the truth just showed up. It's that America finally ran out of excuses. There were no more excuses that they were not listening to the black Americans. So, don't clap for the awakening. Demand accountability. Don't put them at the back for finally getting it. Ask them what they are going to do with the truth. At least let's find a solution, because now we have known the truth. What are we going to do about it? Because acknowledgement without action is just performance. Black America didn't need to be proven right. We already knew it. The real question of today is, now that you've finally seen what we have been saying, will you stand with us or just keep sitting in silence? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And remember this, folks, keep the comment section healthy. We're trying to find a solution of a problem, not blaming each other. Please, folks, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Support me and I'll thank you. Big up.